Sometimes you have to make repairs on arrival to a new port. Our Profurl Roller Furler on our stay sail
had completely seized up. It had spilled the oil all over the deck and was not furling or unfurling at all. So there'd be no play in La Marin, Martinique
until we repaired our roller furler.
One must always be ready to sail. Stay sail roller furler, it's about 8 or 9 years old, maybe even almost 10 years old. It has been packing it up since our crossing. It was really hard to roll up the stay sail furler, and now we couldn't roll it up at all. It was just completely seized, and I don't know if you can hear it, but now that we've kind of taken it apart, it's actually a little bit looser than it was. It was completely seized. You can buy this part separate from this part, and it's cheaper, but Profurl, when I talked to him on the phone, felt we didn't have the right tools to get the circlips in this apart, and so they just sent both things already assembled to me. So this is called the drum mechanism. So we got a new one. This is how it came, all set and ready to go, and just have to take it off and install it. Just a few screws there, and we will have to put Lanacoat on it so that we can get these out in a few years if we need to. Luckily, Patrick, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, took out the screws, even though we didn't need to fix this, and put them back in with Lanacoat so that sometime, somewhere down the line when we had to take it apart, it would come apart. And everybody that we talked to about taking these apart, oh, you're going to struggle, you're going to need propane torches, you're going to need hotter than propane, you're going to need everything to get these apart. Well, guess what? They came apart in about 2 minutes. So that was beautiful. Thank you, Patrick. That's our new stay sail, Profurl. It turns very nicely and it's ready to go. And also, we didn't get new parts of these because that adds probably hundreds more dollars. So we're using the old guard and the black drum that the rope furls onto. That'll go on. I mean, it goes on nice and easy. Let's see if I can do this right. It just goes on. There's a notch right there, so we just put that in so that it lines up with this notch right here. It goes in, and then these will go into the little slot right here. They'll slip right down in there once I have it exactly right, like that. And then we'll put those nice Lana-coated screws in there, and the screws in there, and we'll tighten these right here onto the silver turnbuckle cover. Slide the whole thing up the loosened stay, hold it up, put the stay back together with our nice longer clevis pin that Lorenda brought for us. Thank you, Lorenda. She also brought this down for us too, among other things. So the first part and the easy part was to assemble the frame onto the roller furler drum mechanism. So that's what. I don't think I'll insult your intelligence by telling you how to do this. It's pretty self-explanatory, but please ask me any questions down below if you have any questions, okay?
I'll tighten it all up once we're done.
So now we needed to slide the black drum down onto the bottom, inside the frame there. So we had to line up a few holes there, put some Lanacoat on it so it would come back out again. When everything was lined up, we just used a regular old screwdriver and tightened everything up with the screws provided. A final coat of Lanacoat to make sure that in 10 years when we take this apart again, we'll be able to. Dissimilar metals. This is the part on a roller furler that people take days with hot gases and hotter gases and hotter gases to try to get them apart 10 years after they've been installed to fix them. And we're putting lots of Lanacoat in so that years from now when we have to take this apart again, it's easy peasy. So if we failed to mention it before, the sail came off, and then I had to hold up the foil because we were now unattached, untensioned from the bottom, so we didn't want it to bend halfway up the foil and do something bad, pop out some pins or something. So I had to hold it straight as much as I could while he fitted on the drum mechanism, the Furler drum mechanism onto the foil. I actually had to lift it a little bit up so that he could put it on the bottom like this. And then, of course, we have to take the turnbuckle and put it back down on the chain plate and attach it. That was not that easy.
It's fine. So what I've got to figure out, because this slides, is where this actually only one.
There's 3 holes at the top on the old one.
It's got 2. Okay, it's got.
This one's. There's 3 on this one.
So we've reassembled the inner forestay, fitted the turnbuckle, adjusted the turnbuckle, gotten what we think is the correct tension, fitted our split pins. We've still got to insert these 2 tabs into the furling drum, and I've just got to attach these 2 tabs into the Profurl drum. That will set the height for us on the turnbuckle cover over here. We're going to drill 2 holes on each side over there for some set screws that go in, and that will then position the furling drum as it should be. It comes with a little set screw that has a shoulder machined onto it. This, I think, is a Profurl part, and we managed to find one in Patrick's supply box, and it's a Sunday, so we couldn't go to any rigging supply stores. So I got a larger one like that and then hand filed it down to fit. This is a little handmade piece, and that should do the business. So I'm going to set it now, drill and tap, and then we should be good to go.
Something I've always appreciated about Michael is that he gets me involved. He doesn't just go up and do things. He gets me involved, and I learn a lot that way. You know, I'd always wished that I had watched Patrick work more, because there's things that I just don't know how to do. But I can't get it.
You can.
I can't get it. Just but now I'm learning how to do them, and sometimes I get really frustrated and I can't always get it done, but Michael's always patient and he always shows me how to do it, so thanks, Mike, for that.
Okay, now roll it in your hand. Yeah, but you got to squeeze hard.
This is me squeezing hard.
Yeah, squeeze and roll. There you go. Look at that. Perfect.
I did it.
Thank you for teaching me how to do it, Michael. I know how it's supposed to look, I just don't know how to do it.
He just has to make sure here that he gets it on one side, but he also gets it on the other side, because you can't swing it up once one side is up. You have to have both sides up and lined up together. This is something like the 10th time we've put these screws in, or at least it seems that way. Does it seem that way to you guys?
These threads are a little tired, so it's not gripping on the first section, but we'll win. We'll get it there. I swapped the bolts around, and this one is set quite comfortably. Yeah, well, now the question is going to be, will this one fit in the other side? Let's see. Okay, that's that. Set. Done. Game, set and match. That's done. We're not completed, but that is at least done.
One small step for
man
and
one giant leap for mankind.
That's it.
This little pilot is a 3mm hole, so I didn't damage the thread on the turnbuckle housing by drilling it there to get my correct location. Now it slides out, and I'm going to drill it with the bigger one, with a 6-0. The danger, of course, is there's a shroud inside there, and we don't want to be damaging that, so it's easy as you go. It does need to go all the way through. There you go, perfect. This little guy over here. Right, so that sits there and locks.
There, just like that. I don't know if that's the manufacturer's idea, but that is our idea.
I'm going to set that.
Well, you were going to put lana coat on it.
I'll take it out and put lana coat on. Now we're going to do the other one.
Okay.
So I'm setting this one to position the other one.
Sure.
And then we take it out, put lana coat,
on each one
and we're
separately.
good to go. So center punch. Hope to. This is the all-important part.
Why is that important?
So that
So
I've center punched, dead in center. If I hadn't, then I'd start drilling holes and the set screw wouldn't line up with the other side. I'm doing this as gently as I can so I don't stab through into the shroud.
Just getting it started by hand, making sure it's centered and just giving it, just a little bit of tension. It doesn't need serious torquing. And voila, just like that, we can put the staysail back on. That's done and dusted. We had left our portable VHF radio in the dinghy after a snorkel or two in the rain and destroyed it, so we got a new one. We chose a Retevis brand VHF this time because another one of our friends told us how often they'd gotten theirs wet and it kept running.
Most VHF radios that you get are water resistant. That means that maybe they can take the humidity in the tropics. But this one I've already dropped in the water once. I'm not doing it again because I'm not taking any chances. I'll believe it when I see it, when I leave it in the dinghy in a bucket of water because I forgot to take it out overnight and it actually survives. I'll let you know. Ask me in a year. This one I think will stay alive. Retevis. Well, I guess the radio will be okay. It'll just be me that melts.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city light. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.